Hi, everyone. We are really excited for this panel today. We have some great leaders here to share with you. And so we're just going to really just jump in. And I'm going to start with the first question. Um, and the first question is, with the passage of the Nothing About Us Without Us Act, there should be more opportunities for people with IDD. All of you are leaders within our movement. Please talk about some of the boards you have served on, and we're gonna start with Joey for this question.
Okay, my name is Joey Wilson. I'm wearing a white T-shirt. I'm Native American. Um, I sit on the Arcatine County Board, and yeah, I'm a big mental health advocate. So your question, John. I've been on Arcatine County. I helped pass House Bill 1199 for witches for people who wanted to work more with who would lose their Medicaid benefits, but it passed. That is how I became involved with Arcatine County, so I've now been on the board for 6 years. I am on Bellevue College's Occupational Life Skills Programs board. I attended the OS program and graduated in 2020, and 2 years ago they started at advisory board. And that program did so much for me that I wanted to give back and be part of this board. I had stayed in touch with some of my teachers, and they reached out and asked me to join.
Thanks, Joey.
Welcome, John.
Our next panelist is going to be Dr. Dana Summers.
Hi. So my name is Dana. They ever asked me to sing. I know my name sounds like a singer. I'm a terrible singer. So, quick description. I'm Asian lady, with her red, black hairs and red jacket, sitting in her room in Kenmore, Washington. So it's a very interesting question. I joined advocacy first of all because I'm a mother. I'm a mother of two kids with disabilities, and why I was trying to understand the system because I'm an immigrant. I'm Central Asian immigrant who came here 8 years ago. I felt like I don't understand anything and I can't get answers. And it was so overwhelming feeling. At that time, I didn't know about my own disability. Like I know that I was different, but the exact words, what's going on with me, everything was unpacking why I was moving with two of my kids, getting support for them. And I remember myself like crying in the night, like any mothers who was trying to help her autistic sons or daughters might understand my feeling. And I felt like if I can go through this, I want to change the system. I want to be sure that I could help. So first I joined as I was a chair of State Interagency Council. It's early interventions designed for supporting kids from birth to 3. I served as a council of Washington State Independent Living Council. I served as a council division of vocational rehabilitation, and I'm board member of Autism Unity.
Thanks, Donna. Now we're going to move over to Tammy Bowen.
Hello, my name's Tammy Bowen. I am a white woman in my mid middle age, brown hair, kind of wavy hair. Um, I I actually started out in human service field after my college degree. I myself, of course, have a disability. So I've been advocating for myself pretty much ever since I was a little kid. Um, I I worked at um Vadis as an employee consultant, and I was the first one there that had a physical, disability that with CP. And anyway, after that, I was there for 11 years. Then I went on to be hired at work opportunities as an advocacy specialist. So I got to see the other end of the advocacy work, the legislation, how we keep uh, our providers for providing services, which is very necessary. So I ended up getting on a few boards. First, in 2020, I was able to get on the Pierce County um, DDA board for about a couple of years. Their DD administrated. We Their county around, Pierce County and developmental disability with other providers that came to the board to advocate for services and how it's going. And I also am serving on the Allies in Advocacy, which is a self-advocacy board that we advocate for policies and programs federally as well as locally. So they they empower people with disabilities and to really have a voice in the legislative process. I also recently, in 2024, I served on the governor um, CDR board, which stands for Consumer Direct Rates, which has to do with um, providers providing personal care. So I, as a recipient of that service, I was able to have my voice heard. Um, I also am on the board of CEA Board of Directors, which stands for Community Employment Alliance, which they are a statewide organization of advocacy organization made up of employment providers, which has a huge voice in the legislative advocacy perspective. And I recently was asked to be the president of the CEA board, which I wasn't totally ready for, but I decided to go ahead and give it a try. Thank you.
And Tammy, I'd like to add on something I missed in my first question. I'm also a board member on the National Alliance for Mental Illness NAMI Seattle. I've been on the board for 6 years since I graduated college. This board means a lot to me in my time there. We have advocated for mental health services. I've been honored by the Seattle Kraken in 2022 and named Starbucks Community Star, and I was on the Jumbotron at the game. A documentary was made and shared at NAMI Seattle Stigma Free event in 2023. Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy and Joey. Next, we're going to move on to Lizzy.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Johnston and I go by Lizzy. I am a white non-binary person. Um, my pronouns are she, they. I have salt and pepper hair. Um, and I rock a pretty cool beard. I have cat uh purple cat eye glasses that are different layers of purple. And I am in my living room in Lakewood, Washington. Um, I have been doing advocacy work for a very long time. I was on the Puget Sound ESD Policy Council board. That's kind of where I got my start. Um, and I've been on uh, oh, I guess I should kind of explain. So the Puget Sound ESD board is the Puget Sound education services department, I think. I don't remember all the soup letters. Um, but it focuses on early learning and early learning supports. Um, I was on the I was in the WASA Parent Ambassador program. I did I was on the PI committee, which is Parent Institute Education.
Parent Institute of Engagement.
Thank you. I did I I do different uh a lot of different advocacy work, and I don't always remember the abbreviations of everything. I was on um the DVR council, and I am the current historian for People First of Washington's uh executive board.
Great, thanks, Lizzie. We're going to move on to our next question. And this question says, talk to us about a board experience that was difficult for you. How did you ask/seek out support to be successful as a board member? Were there natural supports within the board? What type what type of support has helped you become a successful board member? And again, we'll start with Joey.
All three of the boards I am on, they send information ahead of time, which is helpful. If I don't understand something, I usually ask the board president and they can help. Or if I ask another board member during the meeting, they help. Sometimes as a board, making a big decision, not everyone agrees on what to do, but everyone agrees on the result and what they want the outcomes to be. This can take time as a board to work through and stay calm through discussion and respectfully because everyone is serving together because they believe in the mission. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Joey. Now we'll move on to Donna.
I think, first of all, like I'm immigrant. English is not my native language. So when I'm constantly on the meetings, I have to switch between languages, be sure that I have a face which not express anything, because sometimes my face has a subtitles and show everything which is supposed to be, and then act according to specific rules and regulation. I think one of the difficult thing for me was Robert's Rules of Order. I was still not getting why we have to do this motions and approve, then discuss and do this. Can we just come discuss something and then go after this kind of stuff? Another thing, because I also have autoimmune condition, I had a time on the virtual meetings. Thanks God for COVID for virtual meetings because sometimes you cannot travel. It's like when I was sitting in a meeting and I couldn't understand anything. Like, not because I do not understand English, not because I'm illiterate, but I had a moment in my life when like I'm in such a brain fog that I can't process anything. And then they asking you something and you like, I'm sorry, can you tell me what we were talking about? Like, can you stop using jargon when I explain it? Can you make it very simple? Just imagine that I'm a child. I'm not getting it. Sometimes I had a situation when I'm like, was not able to understand the verbal speech. So it was like, can you turn on captions? I see you. I know that you are speaking, but I don't understand any word which you're telling me. Like I had the situation like I couldn't process any verbal information, but I could read caption. And I have dyslexia. And I still able to read better than listen the person, you know? That was like some of this. And you can't explain it to people like why in some moments you have understand them very well, understand the very difficult terms, can get it. And in some moments you are so dumb that you cannot even get what they're talking about. So it's very difficult, especially if it happens in a moment, because like, yeah, you can have agenda, you can have information ahead of time, but you never know which one of disability of you decided to flare up and cause you a problem. And you don't know how it will affect you sometimes and the opportunity to be there, you know? And you carry like kind of stuff, you're an advocacy board, you're trying to advocate in, it's a constant work of explaining why today I cannot get you people, why I need a break, why I cannot answer your questions, why I can reach you later, or why I cannot be in this meeting at all. I think this was one of the most challenging things.
Thank you, Dana, for sharing your experience. Um, Next, we're going to move on to Tammy.
Hi, yeah, Donna, thank you for bringing that up because you're not alone. Because I have felt like that several times on a couple of different meetings, and I feel like the older I get brain fog, and you know, I guess now I'm in a place where it's okay to be there, and it's okay to say, hey, you know, I do not understand what you're trying to say. Can you please say it in a way that we can all understand? Because honestly, we're probably not the only one on the board that feels that way. Now that I am president of the CEA board, um, I I did not realize how much I need to know that you know when to how to do the process of making a motion. And you know, and at first I felt so dumb and you know not knowing. So I asked for help. I said, hey, you know, Aaron, can you please just send me a sheet that says the process of, you know, when to do emotion and what is that all involved. And I really had to go back to the bylaws and reread the bylaws over and over because there is so much to learn and to understand. And but thankfully I'm on a board that I already know the people on the board, so I felt it was okay to step up and be the president. But if you do not feel comfortable and you just need to take a step back, it's okay to say no, I can't take on any more leadership roles for now. You really need to know your boundaries and you need to know it's okay to say no once in a while and to step back. And that's okay, you know. So, did I answer your question? I'm sorry, I kind of got all of that done.
Thank you, Tammy. Now we'll move on to Lizzy.
Yeah, when I first started okay, so the first board that I was on was the Puget Sound ESD, and I did not know anything about being on a board, and this is before the Nothing About Us Without Us Act. And I was not as outgoing and I was not as talkative as I am now. I was very, very shy. Um, and my first, um, my first year on that board, um, I was too shy to ask questions, if I was confused about something. And I just got frustrated with myself and the situation because I wasn't, I didn't feel like I could ask questions or I could, um, and especially since, it was um, it was more so like a parent, um, it was more of like a parent group, uh, committee board. And even though I was a parent, I kind of felt out of place because I had disabilities and I had quite a few diagnoses that hadn't been presented yet. And uh, and it was overwhelming. Um, I am very happy with the way the board is at People First of Washington. Um, I'm historian for one more year, and we have a new board, and it's been really, really helpful because we have made a group text. So I am definitely a person that forgets when I have meetings, and I don't know how to use the Google Calendar yet. And I need several reminders. So that has been like the best like help and support for me because I don't always have the best attention span and I have a whole bunch of commitments because I am the person that does not know how to say no to the different uh the different boards, and I have forgotten which boards I'm on and which day I'm supposed to go where. Okay, I'm done.
Liz,
Can I add
Liz,
something, Lizzie? Because I met you on policy council, you wasn't so shy. I mean, like you were speaking when somebody can personally come to you and approach you. And I know how lonely it feels because majority of the parents, they didn't have a kid with disability, they was not aware of their own disability. And there's kind of like this kind of, intersectionality when you not only present one stuff as a parent, but you also parent with disability. And parenting a child with disability is totally different game. And you kind of like when, Katniss Everdeen, when you see somebody like yours, you're like, yeah, salute, I know, I hear you, I can talk with you, but everybody else, sorry. And I have to say, she mentioned very important stuff. Not only remember about meeting, answering emails. Why do we have to answer so many emails? And I'm sometimes got email, I've read it. That's mean I answer in my brain. I don't think I need to write the answer, but according to etiquette, I have to write the answers that I've read it. Thanks.
Thank you, Dana. And thank you, Lizzie, for sharing your experience. All right, so we're going to go on to the next question. Um, the next question is, webinar participants have been learning about how to effectively serve on boards. What advice would you give to a self-advocate who is serving on their first board?
I would say, this is Joey Wilson. Serving on a board is helpful because you can make an impact, helping others in the community. You have to keep in mind confidentiality, and where there are tough decisions, you have to come together as a board to work through those. Take notes, remember the scheduled meetings, speak up, do not be afraid to put in your own opinion with what can help with the topic. I find a board that speaks to what is important to you, a board that suits you and draws your attention and interests things. This will help you make an impact. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need. Advocate for change you want to see. Think about the broader community, not just yourself. Put the community first. Follow through and good communication is very important. If you get emails or phone calls, you need to return them. Set up time on the calendar to ask questions ahead of time. For example, you can help you be prepared. Before I joined these boards, I went to Bellevue College, occupational life skills program. I didn't even have a calendar. Being a part of these boards has really helped me develop responsibilities in terms of organization, follow through and meeting deadlines. Thank you.
Thank you, Joey.
Welcome, John.
Go to Dana next.
Yeah. I think one of the most difficult stuff for me was advocacy. And I mean advocacy when you have to uh, fight or explain something to legislature or big group of people. Because like if you are a board member, you cannot like advocate as a board member because it's a conflict of interest. But as a personal person, when you meet legislatures, you can advocate for some things. And one of the win, I think, what was coming and Lizzie was describing about Head Start early learning, it's a preschool from 3 to 5. And they serve a lot of kids with disability. And till I think COVID, they never put an agenda in advocating for kids with disability. And I remember how I was like basically pushing someone and explaining why they need to do it, you know? And you kind of feel that you are a very pushing person. Another part, it's a cultural identity. I'm Asian. So I have to say face. But in order to speak with someone and advocate for increasing special education funding, for Nothing About Us Without Us, or about all the American Act, which I did in Washington, D.C. with Senator Patty Murray. You have to explain what happened with you. You have to bring basically your trauma on the plate. And nobody prepare for you for that. Like everybody teach you to tell a story, but how do you deal with all this stuff? Like being so vulnerable in front of the people and then being able to put it back. You not only represent yourself, you represent your community. And I'm be honest with you, a lot of immigrants don't want to be on the board. A lot of immigrants from where I come do not trust governments, do not trust, especially now, but we don't talk about it. So you kind of have to speak about struggle of the people, giving them dignity, respect, and still making the sob story, otherwise somebody will not understand. I remember when I was speaking with Jerry Paletta. It's one of the rap and explaining my experience with dyslexia and how my kids are struggling and how it's difficult for me to teach them. And he's looking at me, oh my God, you got your PhD in 24 and you have dyslexia. This is so cool. And I became the inspirational story. You know, this kind of charm when they use your disability, like, oh, she could do it, you could do it too. That was not why I was talking there. And then he's like, we had a private school. I wish I could afford for my kids private school, you know, or private tutors and everybody else. That's not everybody else privilege and opportunity. When I speak and I bring my pain somewhere, do not overwhelm you. I want the changes, system changes, that people after me will have it easy. I want you to do something. Don't use me as a talking. Don't use me as an inspirational story. Trust me once and do something. Don't ask us to repeat ourselves every time. Thank you so much. I know I was quite emotional right now.
I think that your experience, Dana, is really important to help people understand that people with disabilities can do anything else that everyone else can do. We just may need some support to do it. And it's, I think that you touched on like a really important thing that, these days we talk about like, um, this idea of like people with disabilities are like so inspirational for doing the things that they do. And um, it's one of my favorite lines in the um, credo of support video that I share with our new hires is that it says, don't admire me. A desire to live a full life doesn't warrant adoration. So I love that. And I think that as we move forward, that's something that we need to continue to lean on so that folks see us as like a real part of their community. All right, Tammy.
Oh, and can you repeat the question, please?
Sure.
So I know answering.
Yeah, absolutely. Webinar participants have been learning about how to effectively serve on boards. What advice would you give to a self-advocate who is serving on their first board?
Okay. I I would say don't put yourself down if you don't understand something. Just to be yourself and contribute your knowledge or your story to the board because everyone is different. Everyone has a different perspective, and it's you are no less valuable than everybody else on the board. You have as much right to voice your opinion as anybody else. But also, we all need to learn to listen to each other. And I would say taking a conflict resolution class will really help you to really hear other people, and it's not only about yourself but about learning how to respect each other even when we don't agree. We really need to get back to that. It's not all about one person, it's about everybody. And I would also say, don't overlimit yourself. Learn to say no if you feel too overwhelmed. Uh, Especially if you have a little kid. I remember being a mom as my kids were little. I felt like I had to say yes to everything, but you really got to put your priorities in perspective. And for me, I have to write everything down in Outlook because there's been a couple times where I forgot to write it down in Outlook and I miss a meeting. So, yeah, you really, and also for me, it's helpful to read the minutes from the board meeting. It's helpful to read it before the meeting and after the meeting, so you know what to expect and what to discuss. So, and remember, no question is a dumb question. It's okay to ask for help. I'm the type of person that I can be pretty outspoken, and I voice my opinion, so I never really struggle with that much. No, that, yeah, thank you.
And Tammy, I'd like to add something. Everybody in life, every individual has a struggle, and everyone needs an advocate, whether it's a friend, a parent, a mentor. Everyone needs help, and I think it's very important um, to have an advocate in this world because we all need one. Thank you.
Thanks, Joey. Thanks, Tammy. Lizzy, you're next.
Okay. My biggest piece of advice would be to ask as many questions as you need. I wish I would have done that earlier in my advocacy work and serving on boards. Um, and one of the things that I have noticed being on several different boards throughout the years, um, is when a board has certain like agendas that they need done at the Capitol. Um, if your story fits whatever they need, they're going to ask you. And I want you guys to know that it can both be really, really good and really, really challenging. And if it doesn't feel comfortable doing it the first time, then don't. Like, don't force yourself to be like, I have to do this because they asked me to. Um, yes, it's good to get out of your comfort zone. I am all for that, but uh there's there's some times where um it can get overwhelming. And I've I've been doing advocacy work for almost 10 years now, and I go to the Capitol a lot, and I still freak out talking to legislators and senators, and there's a certain few that I get super excited with, and I run up and I hug them and they hug back, and then we go back to doing whatever. Um, so yeah, my biggest advice is uh questions, lots of questions.
Great.
Sorry,
And
sorry, my coffee is kicked in.
and Elizabeth,
Hi,
oh,
Doug, I add to do what Lizzy talked about. Um, this is Tammy. I also, if you have a legislator that asks you a question, it's okay to say, hey, that's a great question. I don't know right now. Can I get back to you on that? You know, it's okay not to know every answer to the question, but just be honest because they'll respect you more if you just say, "Hey, I don't know, but I'll get back to you on that."
and Tammy and Elizabeth, I'd like to say something, please.
Mhm.
Um, Never be afraid to ask for what you need. Honesty goes a long way, and if your word goes a long way in this world. I've as I've continued going through my journey in life, a lot of that in character, honesty, character, your word, and never be afraid for ask for what you need. Thank you.
Thanks, Joey. Thanks, Tammy. All right. I'm looking at the clock here. We have one more question, but I want to make sure that we get some time for audience questions. So I'm gonna turn it over to Catherine to help us out with that.
Hi, everyone. This is Catherine Titus. I would say we could ask the panelists the final question,
Okay.
which is how has board service had an impact on other areas of your professional life? And Joey, we'll start with you.
Okay, thank you. The boards the boards are on my resume, so if I'm applying for a job, they see that I'm serving on boards. It's a great opportunity to give an overview about how meaningful being on a board is, how I can give back to others, and how to be involved in the community. It also shows that I'm a responsible, caring person. Thank you.
Great.
Um,
Thank you.
I'm gonna answer next.
It's Dana. I was serving on the different boards, has a different experience, and I had a very clear goal when I was coming to every board position. I want to learn something. I want to understand the system because I knew it's not the people. It's not the people. It's a system which you're trying to change, and it's a long game. It's a long. It doesn't happen in one day. So you have to try. You have to go. You have to in some way fight. And you have to be consistent. I think because I searched in so many boards and the different stuff, and I didn't mention when I give my introduction, all of the stuff. It's like how complex it is, how much intersectionality plays a role. Like if you're a person with disability, one stuff. If you're an immigrant, it's another. If you're black, brown, indigenous, something else. It seems differently. If you're a woman or man, if you're a transgender, if you belongs to different religious party or something, there's just so many layers of this. And it's like sometimes you cannot get everything in a first time. But I want you to remember that people heal people. Advocacy sometimes became our life choice because we want the changes, not only for us, but for everybody who comes after us. We're trying to change the system, the policy, the laws, everything. Because even when it's very dark night, and I'm speaking right now about situation right now, we know that the dark night, once upon a time, will be ended. I always tell to people, I was born in the Soviet Union. I know dictators and everything else too well. Everything changed. Be the wave of change and be true to yourself. And have something that you hold on, something that you value. I think the main things what advocacy helped me is to see the people, see their struggle, understand them, and continue to choose care. My choice is still same. That's all.
And Dan, I'd like to add something. Uh, I feel like that advocating in this world and for other people is like sentimental value. It really it really hits home. It hits people in their heart. You know, it really helps people grow and helps people just helps get people to the next level because everybody has setbacks. But it's like a saying I have. It's not the cards you're dealt; it's how you play them. So I agree.
Okay, thanks, Joey. Tammy, do you want to go next?
Yeah, thank you. For me, I've learned a lot. It's just I I've learned honestly, no matter what background you are or you have or disability you have, we all want the same thing. We all want to be heard. We all want to be seen. We all want to be loved. We're all the same. And it, for me, I've gotten more opportunities to be a part of more groups because your name gets out there, with different boards. We are so interconnected, and it's helped me to speak up even more. But more than that is to learn to have compassion more for other situations, that other people are facing. And I think we need more of that. We need more to respect each other, no matter where we are in life. But we also need to learn to recognize that we need to uh, take care of ourselves to our family first before trying to commit to um taking care of other people, you know, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we're not going to help in the cause. So I hope that made sense. No, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tammy. Lizzie, do you want to top us up with this question?
Yeah. Um, it's kind of it's helped my whole life. Um, it's one made it so that I have a professional life. Um, I got my first job last year. Um, and it was indirectly um because of um a board affiliation and like just yeah. So that it's made it so that uh my friendships are stronger. Um and I've been helping a lot of friends with medical advocacy. Um because doctors can be not very nice to people in larger bodies. So I do a lot of advocacy around, hey, treat me like a person, not just a number. Just because I'm bigger doesn't mean that my health is not as important. So I do a lot of that with friends, family, um, and it's a generational thing. Like my my grandma had a lot of things happen um to her as a child and was sent away because that's what they did. And my mom had stuff, and I am advocating for both of them and my daughter so that we can break cycles and break chains. And I do it for all of my friends. Um, because every person that's living, I just love people. And yeah, I'm gonna stop with that.
Thank you so much to all of our panelists. This has just been a great way to spend an hour with all of you and hearing your experience. And thank you, thank you, thank you.